My name is Janette Fennell, and I'm the president of Kids and Car Safety. Kids and Cars is a national nonprofit organization who works to keep kids, pets, and others safe in and around motor vehicles. And we've been around for over 25 years now.
What do you say to somebody who maybe doesn't understand? How can a parent leave a child in the back of a car when it's heating up and that potentially leads to the death of the child? How can you forget your child in the back seat?
Well, people do ask that question all the time. And it's really important for them to understand we're all human. And our brains are trying to keep up with everything we have going on. And, just take for the example, you're driving to work. Maybe you're not the one who usually drops the baby at daycare. And many times, I'm sure we all have experienced this, your brain gets on autopilot. You start thinking about a report you need to get finished that day, or the phone call you're going to have right when you get there. And if your brain goes on autopilot, it's very strong, and it will overtake what we would call your projective or the things you're going to do in the future. And it can be as easy as that. And so we don't really want people to think of this as bad parents, good parents. It really has to do with our brain function. And, think about it. If you're a new parent or a parent of a child 3 and under, you're sleep deprived. And when you're sleep deprived or stressed, your brain isn't working as it should be. Then we've got a little baby rear facing in the back seat who almost always falls asleep. And you have this very silent little package in the back seat. And all of that is unfortunately a real recipe for disaster.
There have been advancements in safety in vehicles to try and help parents remind them, alert them that there's a child in the back seat. What have we seen in terms of those advancements in that kind of alert system?
Well, we've been working literally over 20 years to get some technology in vehicles, to help people, because nobody on earth wants little children to die in a hot car. And what's so important about this is we have tried to get language in a bill for years and years and years. And finally, we have been successful. And we've got language in the infrastructure bill that requires the government to write a regulation such that there's technology that's affordable and available that can be added to vehicles so children don't have to get left alone in vehicles.
Right now, is the technology adequate in vehicles to alert parents?
Actually, no. What's happened is actually that type of technology has been very confusing. It really is just door sequencing. It doesn't detect anything. So if you have a little reminder that says check the back seat, in most cases, that just means you opened the back door before you left on your journey. Well, you could put a bag of potato chips back there and you'd get that same warning. They think that somehow it's detecting that there's a child or that it's weight-based, and it's none of that. So we get calls at our office all the time congratulating us, saying, oh, this is so great. You were able, to get some technology added. And we're like, no, that's not how it works. So, but there is technology that is available. And the best we've seen is a radar system that is really inexpensive to make and put in to the vehicles during the manufacturing process. And it can detect if there's a child. It can tell the difference between a child, an adult, or a pet. So that's what we're looking for.
So you think this radar technology is really a good solution?
Oh, it's a fabulous solution. It can do all sorts of things. In fact, it's such a good solution. It could tell you if you have your seatbelt on or not. And, if the car makers want to take out those sensors in seats for reminding people to wear their seatbelt, they could add it to this technology. And I think with that would even save money. So yeah, the technology's there, and we just need it in the cars to help save these babies' lives.
Are there any obstacles to getting this technology to be mandated in vehicles?
There's always obstacles. And like I said, it took us over 20 years to get language passed, but it's now passed. And there's a bureaucracy of the government. Unfortunately, Congress mandated that they have this finalized by November of 2023, and we haven't even seen the notice of proposed rulemaking yet that was due in December 2022. So they're way behind, and we just cannot accept that. Congress told them to do this, and now they need to do it.
Does the law go far enough?
Well, what's written in the law is sort of just the driver reminder system, but we've been working with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and they know that that's not really an adequate solution. In fact, we as an organization have documented deaths of 6 children who have died in cars that have just that reminder that the door was opened.
Do you think that parents have a false sense of security based on the technologies that's in place right now?
We do, and that's based on, people who call us, even people that have been involved in this type of situation, because it's very confusing. It's called a rear seat reminder, and that's kind of what it does, but it doesn't have anything to do with really children. It doesn't tell you if you've left a child alone. It just tells you open the back door.
Why has it taken so long to get to a point where we have technology that helps prevent this?
Well, I think, as you said, there's a lot of misunderstandings, and people, have a knee-jerk reaction. They want to say, this would never happen to me, of course, until it does. And we have plenty of parents that we work with that said, I was one of those people. I didn't think it could ever happen to us. Thus, they didn't put some of the safety tips we have in place right now to prevent it. And, there's even this kind of guttural reaction thinking, if I make a monster out of the person this happens to, I know I'm not a monster, so then it can't happen to me. But nothing could be further from the truth. So we really want people to understand it's a very human type of thing that can happen. We're so busy. We've got so many things going on. And you put a sleeping baby rear facing in the back seat. And quite frankly, we're surprised it doesn't even happen more often.
According to your own data, more than a quarter of children who die in hot cars climb into those vehicles when there's nobody in it. Would this technology help to detect a child who's in a car when there's not a parent in the car?
Yes, it can. You just want to make sure that, your battery's charged, but it does have that capability, and nothing else that we've seen anyone add to their vehicle has that capability. And we cannot forget about that 25% of children. And, the incident that happened already this year did involve a little one who got into a vehicle on their own. I mean, think about these kids. They're sitting in the back seat and they're watching their parents forever. I mean, it's like you give them their little baby keys. They don't want that. They want the real keys. And, they play with their cars and trucks, but oh no, it would be much more fun to get in mom and dad's car and play around doing that. The problem is once they get in, they can rarely ever get out. And that's why we see the number of deaths being 25%. So it's one of the only solutions that can do both things. And that's why we're so excited about it. So let's install it in all of our vehicles right away.